What's up, ladies? It's Coach Steph, and I am coming to you today to discuss meal prepping. Super duper excited about being able to talk to you about this today. So if you come in, say hello, right? Let me know kind of what your feeling is about meal prep. Super duper excited. So I always say, like, I have a ton of like tips and stuff. So I try to keep it simple. What I want you to do, what I want you to take from this is writing down the things that really resonate with you and like what do you think you're willing to implement, because I'm going to give you a lot of tips, but I don't want you to get overwhelmed and like try to implement all the tips at one time. So just start small, and I'll talk a lot about starting small as we go along. But as you hop on, say hello. I see 8 people are watching. Welcome. My name is Stephanie, and I am a registered dietitian. I'm a personal trainer. I'm an online coach, and I really teach people how to lose weight in a sustainable, enjoyable way. But also I teach you about nutrition, fitness, and then also mindset. I am a mindset coach, and I talk a lot about self-sabotage, limiting beliefs, the whole culture of like starting over on Monday or feeling like some foods are bad or good. So I love talking about that kind of stuff. Like, that's my jam. So anytime y'all have questions, just let me know. But today I am here to talk about meal prepping and how to become a meal prep pro, right? So anytime you start anything, you want to start small. You're not going to be a pro overnight. I'm not a pro, right? Still lots of stuff that I can learn. If you guys have tips as well, you can also drop them in the chat. So hopefully I can see comments. Sometimes when I go live, y'all, I can't see your comments. So I'm just going to go to the event to just make sure that I'm not missing any comments. But if you hop on, say hello. Talking about meal prepping today, and I'm super duper excited to get into this because I have a ton of advice for you. So I hope you have a notebook. When I do these lives, you need a notebook, right? You need a notebook so that you can really start to implement the things that we talk about. Because we know some tips already. Like, every one of us that's watching, we know some tips, right? But the implementation is the important part, the taking action of the small steps. So if you hop on, say hello. If you're watching the replay, hello, welcome, and hashtag replay in the comments. So I'm going to get started. Why do we meal prep? Y'all, and I have notes, so if y'all see me looking down, I'm reading my notes. So why do we meal prep, right? So really, we meal prep in order to make our week simpler. A lot of us work during the week, and sometimes on the weekends, it's easier to go ahead and just prep our food so that we are not making impulse, food decisions during the week. So as we go along, most of us get like a break on the weekends, and so we may have more time. And then as the week goes on, we make so many decisions, right? We're making lots of decisions at work, at home, with our kids, etc. And so decision fatigue really sets in. And so when we're hungry and we have decision fatigue, it's at the end of the day, sometimes we don't make the best choices. So we want to set our environment up for success. And if you watched my last live, if you didn't, it was about where to start on your journey, and had lots and lots of tips on how you can start and where to start on your weight loss journey. Talking about setting up your environment, creating boundaries, and creating systems for yourself to be successful. That's a huge part that gets left out a lot of times. People just want to go straight for the food or straight for the, working out every day, but they don't have a system in place or set boundaries and mindset work around that. So if you didn't check that out, check that out. But okay, so meal prepping saves time, right? It helps you to be successful for the week so that you're not making impulse food choices. It prevents the unintentional like fast food runs, right? So we're not stopping at Popeyes like every other day. It also helps us to avoid skipping meals because some of us, like for me, when I'm stressed out or if I'm like really busy, I tend not to eat and so I undereat. So it also can help you to have something on hand so that you actually eat, because eating actually is an important part of weight loss. And it also improves the quality of your diet. You tend to eat healthier foods. You tend to eat like real food, like one ingredient foods like avocado and chicken or whatever it is, versus eating something like out of a box or something that's microwaved and has a whole bunch of extra ingredients in it. Okay. I'm just checking the comments. I can't, if y'all are commenting, I can't see anything. So I'm just going to keep going. So the first thing that we want to do when we start meal prepping may not be the thing that you think I'm going to say, okay? It is, you have to create the time to create the time, okay? So the first step in making any change, whatever you're going to do, you need to set a designated day and a designated time, protect those times with your boundaries and your priorities, and say, at Saturday at 2 p.m., I'm planning my meals and going grocery shopping. Like, this is what I do on this day. So that you have a plan. So if so-and-so calls you and says, hey girl, you want to go out for brunch or whatever, or lunch, you say to yourself, either I'm going to intentionally move this to another time when I'm free, or if I know I don't have any other time, I have to say no to this impromptu lunch because I have a priority that's going to help me throughout the week. Like, I may have fun with you at lunch on on Saturday, but I have to do this because this is going to set myself up for success, and this is the only time I have to do it. So setting that time to create the time, okay? That's number one, okay? So I have on here to ask you guys if you, like, how do you feel about meal prep? And I'm going to wait and see if I can see any comments because, like I said, I don't see any, and I'm not sure if that's correct or not, but let me know. How do you feel about meal prepping? Like, do you feel like it's overwhelming? Tell me what about it is overwhelming. Do you feel like you don't really like eating the same foods over and over? Right? Because that's my issue. I don't really like to eat the same things over and over. What are some other issues that you might feel? Let's see. What are your barriers to meal prepping? How do you feel? Y'all can type that in the chat. I don't see any comments. Oh, yep, see? Okay, so I'm looking at it on my phone, and I see that there are comments, but I can't see them on the thing. So hello. Hello, Pri. I think you're in my Fitbit challenge. Hi, Robin. Okay, I see some people on. Thank y'all for saying hello. I can't see your comments, though. So start small, okay? So I'm going to give you some tips right now on how to start small, okay? So typically when we think of meal prepping, I know for me, like, I think of like being in the kitchen for like 3 or 4 hours, like prepping breakfast, prepping lunch, prepping dinner, like, and having like all this food, right? And that is overwhelming. It is. But if that overwhelm is going to make you skip it more times than not, then just think to yourself, okay, what meal would be the most impactful for me to prep? That might be dinners, right? Because you're coming home from work, maybe your kids have soccer or whatever they're doing, and maybe dinners, normally if you're in a rush, you just like pick up something quick and unhealthy. So maybe you just start with dinner and just say, hey, I'm just going to do dinner. So during your time that you have created to plan, you would sit down and plan your dinner, just dinner, right? If that's the meal that you typically, don't make the best decisions during that time, right? And so that's just a week where you just do dinner, and maybe the next week you add lunch, but just start small. So one thing that you can do, so this is a little hack that is helpful if you use MyFitnessPal. Now, you don't have to use MyFitnessPal, okay? I'm going to share with you two different ways. So if you're into MyFitnessPal, if that doesn't overwhelm you in and of itself, because it's kind of a lot, you can take that time on Saturday, go through your MyFitnessPal and literally plan out what you're going to eat and make sure it's within your calories, within your macros, like within MyFitnessPal. Then you go to the store and you purchase the items and then you cook. Now, firm believer of having your planning day and your grocery shopping day on a separate day than the time you actually cook your meals, if possible. Because that planning, right, the planning phase and the grocery shopping phase, and then you cook on top of that, is like a lot. That's overwhelming. So maybe you plan on Saturday and you cook on Sunday. Maybe you plan and shop on Saturday and then you cook on Sunday. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So we are planning and grocery shopping on Saturday. Sunday, we're shopping. So you can take your ideas. You can get ideas from Pinterest, different websites, right? And say, okay, this is what I want to have. You will put that into MyFitnessPal, and I can actually do a live training on MyFitnessPal as well at some point. And let me know if that's something that you would like. So if you would like in the future for me to do a training on MyFitnessPal, let me know in the comments if that's something that y'all are interested in. Okay, so you can use MyFitnessPal to plan out your meals for the week. And then as you go to the grocery store, you get those groceries. On Sunday, you will actually cook the food. And then you just eat during the week. Because a lot of people do this. A lot of people will not even really plan, and they'll just put in their food in MyFitnessPal every day, like whatever they eat. And then at the end of the day, they're like, crap, I'm way over on carbs, but I need more protein. Or, then they're trying to figure out what to eat at the end of the day, and they're putting it in every day, and that's overwhelming, right? That's too much. So if you take that time on Saturday and you can plan out your meal. I highly recommend just picking, I tell people between 1 and 3 meals to rotate throughout the week, right? So if you're a person who doesn't care, like I can eat the same breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all week, great, right? You do that. If you're somebody that says, hey, I maybe want half and half, so like half the week I'll have like a certain breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the other half I'll have a different breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You can absolutely do that. And you can make everything that Sunday and just make 2 different meals, or you can just prep on Sunday for maybe 3 days, right? And then maybe Wednesday, you prep for the latter part of the week. Does that make sense? So there's multiple ways you can do this. Okay, y'all let me know if you have questions. I have my phone up and I can see some comments. Thank you for saying hello. Samantha says it seems like too much. Yes, because I think we're trying to do it all at one time, and so taking it smaller and smaller steps is a little bit better. So if y'all are having questions, let me know as you come on, because I can see the comments on my phone. So number 1, create the time to create, right? So start small. So you can either do the MyFitnessPal like I just talked about, or you can just take the dinner, right, and just prep for dinner. You wouldn't have to put that in MyFitnessPal, because MyFitnessPal is going to give you your calories and your macros for the whole day. So if you're just focusing on one meal, you can build up to doing the MyFitnessPal for the whole day. Okay. So you want to start with the meal that you struggle with the most, and then have a plan and write that down. Highly recommend. I always tell people have a notebook. Write it down. You are more likely, statistically, the research shows that if you write things down, you're more likely to get them done. That's a simple hack, right? That's a simple hack that we can do. Okay. So set aside time in your schedule to plan your meals, right? So you want to plan on one day, right? And you can plan and grocery shop and then cook on another day. Okay. And then no more than one new recipe. So this is kind of where like the overwhelm comes in, right? Because a lot of people will do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then they have all these new recipes that they've never made with all these different ingredients, and it's too much, right? It's just too much. So no more than one new recipe. Everything else should be stuff that you already know how to make. Stuff that maybe you've made before. And stuff that you know that you like. Right? Because sometimes if you you start over and you get all these new recipes and then you don't like what you have and then you cooked all this food and now either you have to eat nasty food or you're probably just going to go to Popeyes, right? So start with meals that you already know how to make. No more than one new recipe. Make foods that you like. That's really important. Like if you don't like, I saw someone in the group the other day talking about oatmeal or something like that. And it's like, okay, if you don't like oatmeal, don't force yourself to eat oatmeal. Like don't force yourself to eat the things that you don't like. Like I would highly recommend to, try different methods of cooking them. Like sometimes roasting vegetables just in a sheet pan in the oven is a great way to bring out flavors in certain vegetables that maybe like steaming the vegetable you wouldn't really like that. But if like for me, I do not like beets. I do not like beets. I'm not fixing to eat no beets. I don't want beets. So I'm not going to go and make beets because I'm not going to enjoy that. And if I don't enjoy it, then I'm not going to continue to do this long term, right? So make foods that you like and pick fewer meals and rotate them throughout the week, right? So no more than 3 days of meals, of full meals. No more than 3 days. Okay? Is this making sense? Is this live going to be saved? It is. So it will be saved in the events tab. So if you go to the events tab, you can see that. So all of the events will be there. Okay? So y'all, let me know if this is making sense, okay? Let me know if this is making sense either by saying, giving me a comment or thumbs up or something, okay? So any questions also, you can also ask me. So you want to get organized, okay? You want to get organized because part of the overwhelm is mind clutter. And I'm a Virgo. I don't know if there's any Virgos around here, but I do not like clutter. And clutter makes me irritable. Clutter makes me, I can't think as well. So like when you start this, okay, and I've talked about in my last live when I talked about where to start on your weight loss journey. If you didn't see that live, go back and watch that. But cleaning out your pantry and cleaning out your freezer, cleaning out your refrigerator. All them old cans, boxes of stuff that's been in there forever, them chips, them Oreos, get that out of your refrigerator, get it out of your pantry, clean it out so that everything is neat and organized. And when you go into your pantry, you can feel a sense of like calm and peace and in control, like you are about to do this, okay? So really get organized. Clean all that out. Throw out expired foods and anything that doesn't serve you. Right? We have goals, right? We have goals, so we need to make sure that what we're doing is serving us. We're in control of that. Okay? You get to make that decision, not anybody else. So, when you're doing that, you're doing inventory as well to say like, okay, I may have some, I buy my black beans in a bag, but like, I may have some black beans. I'm like, okay, I have black beans and quinoa, but I may not have, I don't know, salmon or something like that. So I would write that down. Like as you're going through cleaning out your pantry, organizing your pantry, take a look at what you already have and try to build your first few meals off of what you already have. Okay. So you're going to want to use your highly perishable foods first. So I always think like, for some reason, strawberries go bad really quickly for me. And depending on the season. Like avocado sometimes like goes really, really bad, like bad fast. So you would want to put, like, if you have a snack of fruit like strawberries, you want to use that at the beginning of the week versus like saving it to the end of the week, right? If you're planning out your snacks as well. So you want to use your highly perishable foods first. You want to shop with a grocery list. So on that planning day, right, where you make the time to plan your meals, you're going to want to write it down, go to the grocery store and shop off of that list. Or now I just, order the groceries online, which can really save a lot of money. And they just deliver it to the house, right? Always, always, always shop with that grocery list. So no shopping on an empty stomach. And this is an oldie but goodie. And this was like super duper true. Like, don't shop on an empty stomach. So let's say Saturday comes and you're going to go run errands and then go grocery shop, right? You need to pack water and pack a snack with you. And this is like a general rule that I tell my clients, period. Like, if you're going to run errands or if you're like going to be out for an extended amount of time, pack your snack with you. Water and a snack. It could be nuts. I don't know. There's multiple things. I know I used to carry a little cooler in my in the back of my car at one time because it was so hot. I'm in Texas, y'all. So always carry a snack with you, okay? And never shop on an empty stomach. Okay, so you'll always have, or you want to keep some like staples on hand, like oil, eggs, canned goods, and things like that. And as you do this, they'll naturally be there as you use those in your recipes. Okay, so then spice it up. So I like well-seasoned food. Okay, so for me, like if I had something that I struggle with, it's like seasoning, because I don't like bland food. But you don't have to put salt, and put a little salt. I ain't gonna lie. Put a little salt, right? But a lot of the seasonings that you're using also have salt or sodium in them, right? So you want to think about your herbs. I love some cilantro. I put cilantro in almost everything that I make. I love cilantro. I love rosemary, right? Those, like, if you have a little garden, we have a garden in the back. Pick your rosemary off and chop that up. Like, think about how you can spice up the dish without having to add a lot of like salt or salty spices. Okay. So shop your pantry first when you're deciding on what foods to plan for the week, right? And you want to use a method first in, first out, which is kind of what I talked about when I said about the highly perishable foods. Like things that you buy first, you want to use that first, just so that things don't go bad, right? And if you stay organized, if you have that plan and written down, then it'll make it a lot easier for you to know what needs to be eaten first. So when you plan your groceries, you also have to think about what's going on in my week. Do I have a doctor's appointment this week that typically I don't have? Do I have, my kids have something in the evening that, normally they don't have? Think about that kind of stuff. Maybe on Sunday, maybe y'all are having like some kind of family event or whatever. And maybe you're not going to have a lot of time on Sunday to cook, right? So you can think about buying like pre-cut vegetables instead of cutting up all your vegetables. You may not want to buy all of your vegetables pre-cut up, but there are several vegetables that you can buy. Like if you're not trying to sit there and cut all these onions, like buy the pre-cut vegetables of certain things to help save you time on the weeks where you don't have as much time. So that time to plan is not just about planning your meal, it's also planning around your life, right? So this is one of the reasons why my business is called Fit Culture for Her, is because culture is just the way it's integrated, right? It's you want your fitness and your taking care of your body to be integrated with everything else, right? And so think about the things that you're going to have to be going through during your week or on your cooking day. Like, do you have a lot of stuff going on? So you want to pick foods with fewer ingredients, right? So pick foods with fewer ingredients. That'll make your life a whole lot easier, especially at the beginning. Or what you may want to do is like have like really simple, maybe you're doing 3 different days and you're rotating those 3 different days. Maybe these 2 meals are very, very simple, and then this one may be a little bit more elaborate, right? So don't have like all 3 of your meals every day having a million different ingredients. But if you do want to try something that has like a little bit more complicated, just do one of those meals, right? So okay, so before they go bad, add in veggies. So as you see, like when you're buying vegetables, like say you had bought, for example, some peppers or jalapenos or carrots or tomatoes or celery or onions, and you see like they're kind of going bad a little bit, you want to make sure you use those, right? You want to use them. Like, so say a recipe doesn't call for onions, but you can throw onions in almost anything. And so that way you're not wasting food, but then, and you're adding more nutritious foods to foods that you're already eating. Okay. Any questions? I just like chocolate and pizza. Well, here's the thing. So pizza, I actually have that on here as a choice, like cauliflower pizza. If you have never tried it, you might want to try it, right? You can make your own cauliflower pizza. And so you can have some of the foods that you like a burger, but maybe make some healthy swaps, and you can still have the things that you like, because we want to be able to enjoy this, right? So another tip, you can repurpose one of the items in your meal. So for example, you can use quinoa for a protein bowl and for soup, right? So think of like when you're planning and you're picking, you can pick meals that you can kind of cross, like use the ingredients. So you can use boiled eggs for breakfast as your protein, and then you can add some boiled eggs to your salad at lunch, right? So if you're boiling eggs, you can just boil a big old pot of eggs, use some of them for breakfast one morning, and then put some boiled eggs in your salad another day. Another idea, you could use grilled chicken for quesadillas and shred that chicken up and like put it in your quesadilla, right? Or you could even use that chicken for fajitas and like just keep it sliced and use it for fajitas. Or sweet potatoes, you could use sweet potatoes. There's a recipe on Pinterest. It's like a sweet potato hash. It has like eggs. It's really different. This is one of the reasons why I picked it, and it's really good. So you can have that, like a sweet potato hash for breakfast, and then of course use sweet potatoes as a carb in one of your dinner meals. Another last example, you can use bell peppers as a snack with your hummus. Like you can just slice up some bell peppers. You can eat your hummus, and you can use some bell peppers as for stuffed bell peppers, right? And I love stuffed bell peppers and eating those as like meal prep. You really want to think about too the method in which you're going to cook it. I love one pan meals where you just chop up everything, put it on a sheet pan, put it in the oven, right? I love to do that in combination with using a crock pot. So let's say I'm chopping up whatever I'm making for a roast, right? Or to roast some vegetables or roast whatever I'm going to put into the oven. While that's cooking, I'm just going to chop up some stuff and throw it into the crock pot or the Instant Pot, right? So that makes things really easy so that you're not like having to wait for your stovetop to cook multiple meals. That also saves a lot of time. Okay, so just some things that you may need. Containers, right? A lot of people don't like the plastic containers. They like glass better. Whatever you like, you might need containers, right? Set yourself up and set your environment up. This is part of setting up your environment for success. Get you some containers, either in bulk or the individual ones. So you don't have to like meal prep and put like all of your food in just one single container. You can make bulk and then just portion out your portion if you have a family at home and eat that. So it doesn't have to be the individual ones. You can buy like the bigger containers. one pans, like the sheet pans, crock pot, Instapot, right? Mason jars for things like overnight oats, or you can even put your salads. You know how people stack the salads where they put like the liquid, I think, at the bottom, and then they stack the ingredients of the salad. And then whenever you get ready, well, that's in a mason jar. You put the lid on the mason jar. Then when you get ready to eat the salad, you shake it up and then pour it out. And then your salad dressing is already like evenly proportioned and ready to eat your salad. So you can get things like that. Of course, you'll need some measuring utensils, even muffin tins. So in the morning time, one of the things I made recently was basically you crack some eggs and you put whatever ingredients that you want. Like you put chopped up spinach, you could put turkey sausage or whatever you're putting in there. Put it in the oven, bake it, and then you can save those, right, and reheat them if you like reheated eggs. Sometimes I have a love-hate relationship with reheated eggs, so if you don't, that might be a good option for you. Ziploc bags, okay? You can use Ziploc bags in this way, and this is what I do because I don't like leftovers as much. I will, on my cooking day, basically marinate, right? You marinate your chicken or your salmon or whatever you're going to eat. Season it, put it in the Ziploc bags. That way, whenever I get ready to eat chicken or eat salmon, it's already seasoned. I just put it in the pan or in the oven or whatever, and it's like easy and ready to go. For your vegetables, you do something similar. You chop them up. You know, depending on what it is, you could season them or whatever, but then you can make your vegetables fresh. So I call that ingredient prepping, and like where I don't cook everything. Like I don't cook everything, but I prep the ingredients to be easily cooked, right? So that's one way you could do it as well. But typically when we think about meal prepping, it is like cooking everything and all you have to do is reheat the already cooked food. And that's fine too. So a food scale, you could get a food scale. That's optional, I think. So let me know if this was helpful, okay? Let me know if some of these tips were helpful or what you yourself plan on doing. Like, are you planning on starting with breakfast or starting with lunch, starting with dinner? Are you planning on ingredient prepping only? Are you planning to start with your snacks? Are you planning to, this weekend, maybe you could clean out your pantry and like set yourself up? Like, let me know what you are committing to doing. Like, what are you committing to doing? Because these talks are great, but action is needed. Like, we have to take action on this, on the things that we know, right? So those are just a few of my tips on meal prepping and being able to start small. So what we talked about, let me just do a little recap really quickly. We talked about why we want to meal prep. It's going to help you be successful for the week, right? We want to create the time to create the time. So set aside time every day or every week to plan and grocery shop. You want to prep your food or cook your food on a different day so that it's not too overwhelming, right? You want to start small. You can just pick dinner, for example, and just do dinners for a while. You want to have your plan written down. You want to make no more than one new recipe per week and keep the ingredients very simple, okay? You want to shop in your pantry first and organize your pantry and start there and only choose between 1 to 3 days of meals and just rotate, okay? And try to look for things that you can repurpose. One example that I used was the quinoa for the protein bowl, and then maybe if you're making soup as well that has quinoa in it, you can use that for both, okay? So set yourself up for success. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you are committed to doing, and let me know if this was helpful. And also, if you guys would like to learn more about the MyFitnessPal, so I think I'm able to share my screen and like do a MyFitnessPal tutorial. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. As always, I'll always have this here for you guys. a link to my mindset workbook. It's a motivation mindset made easy, because I know that one of the reasons why people don't meal prep is because like they don't feel motivated to do so. They may not work out because they, don't feel motivated. So I made this little workbook. Motivation is just all about mindset, how we're thinking about things, right? So I created a little freebie workbook that the link is in the description of this live. Click it, download it, and go through the activity and see if that really helps you to stay motivated and just to start taking action. The whole thing is like, just get started. So if you are new to this, just get started. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be every meal. Just get started. So I'm looking forward to your questions. I'm looking forward to doing this again. Let me know what you want to hear about next Tuesday. And also, I may be doing some live workouts here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.